Cool. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel once again. In terms of just stuff to get out of the way before we start the game, just as usual, we will be playing this game today for about a couple of hours, but taking a break in between, and we will be uploading the video to YouTube on Thursday. Other than that, there's nothing really much to share, and we'll just get straight into the game. So yeah, go for it.
Excellent. So, last time he's arrived on your jet plane on the way back to New York. So before we start, let's tie up some loose ends while we're on the journey. I'm going to start with you, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
How's your health looking?
3 hit points out of 28, so I'm pretty rough.
So you're quite badly banged up. You're cut. You've been blown up. You've been shot in the chest with this laser thing. It's burnt your skin. It's left lizard scales underneath it. How are you looking right now? How do you look?
How do I look in terms of like how banged up do I look, or just
Yeah, and what's your physical appearance at the moment? Like, have you got changed? Have you...
in all honesty, I've probably like from the blast that Stevens took to the chest, like he's probably just stayed in the same clothes for the entire plane ride and aims to change when he gets home. In terms of the physical appearance, though, he's just kind of sitting there still, and I kind of like at this point it's pretty fucked from the blast, but almost like a kind of a light purple vest with a kind of white underlying t-shirt underneath, kind of like what was quite comfortable, long blonde hair, which is kind of like matted and kind of greasy at this point. It's just sort of slicked back and long, just kind of coming down to like where around the his neck is. And relatively decent build, but at the moment he's just looking pretty gaunt because as much as we have been eating, we've not been eating too much, and the events which have happened in Bolivia have been pretty straining on him. So overall, looking a bit jaded.
So, what are you going to do with this wound on your chest?
Well, as I'm on the plane, I'm wanting to kind of like observe it, and for one, try and get a kind of feel for if it looks like it's getting worse or spreading or potentially going away because I know it went away for Francis. So I'm kind of curious as to what's happening with me.
So, your shirt's got a hole burnt in it. It's probably about the size of a fist or something. But yeah, we're still here. You seem to have frozen. Oh, the joys of online. Okay. So yeah, it's burnt like...
Apologies, my signal cut out there.
Yeah.
For that again.
So I was saying that you've got a hole in your shirt and your waistcoat and things, about the size of a fist. You can see the skin underneath it. It's still blistered and some of them have popped and you can see the scales. It doesn't seem to have got any larger, but yeah, definitely this is on view for everybody to see. Are you going to try and hide it, or you just want to...
I'm not honest, I'll probably just kind of sit with it. And the end of the day, like it is what it is. I can't really change it. And I mean, as far as I'm aware, I believe there's doctors on this plane. Is that right?
Nope, there's only used three on this plane. The doctor's got on a different plane.
Oh, oh, okay. Sorry, I
There
thought
is
we were
one
on the same
doctor if
flight
you
as
want
them.
me to try something.
I mean, I could do. Do you know what? Yeah, let's have that conversation. Victor, I noticed that you were able to help Francis with his hand or claw, whatever you want to call it. Do you have any idea what you could perhaps do to help me with this situation that's on me right now?
Most definitely. First, we would have to stop your heart and then apply my serum and then bring you back to life that way. And then watch out for any signs that you have had a psychological break.
I'll probably get a second opinion before I stop the old ticker, but I'll keep it in mind for sure.
Call me if you need help. I'm always here.
I will. So after having that conversation, I'll just sit there with it as is,
Okay.
and just kind of just wait out the flight. I guess like on the flight, I think I said this in the last session. I will be looking through my tome of the occult,
Yep.
just to see if there's anything I can pick up. Because I can't remember if we said that like I'm able to learn new spells from that book, or if I learn spells from elsewhere.
You can learn spells from other places, but as you start looking for the book, you can see there's some more text become clarified, and you can see the letters move in. I've updated your item on roll 20, some additional stuff. But Victor and Francis, is Stephen sitting, you can see him pull out a book. It's it looks old, but also the cover is black. It looks like black leather, but so black it seems to be almost absorbing the light around him. He's almost sitting in shadow while he's sitting reading this book. Anything
Am
for
I
you?
the only normal person on this fucking plane?
This at hand, mate.
Eve, what's that you're reading?
Oh, it's just something to pass the time. Something I came across in my studies quite some time ago, and I found it was interesting.
Okay.
It's
'Cause-
pornography, isn't it?
I'll say this much about it. It's a very flavored read. You need to be a particular type of person to enjoy it.
I see you're a man of culture. God damn it, Cameron.
I apologise for this, mate. My internet right now is absolutely awful.
Yeah, not a problem. But yeah,
You tried
so
switching to mobile data on your phone?
Hmm?
Have you tried switching to mobile data on your phone instead of using your Wi-Fi?
But I don't think it's necessarily the Wi-Fi that's the problem. Like, I think it's just general my connection with my phone. But I'll go with it for now. If it keeps happening, I'll try and switch it over.
Okay.
But when we get in that conversation, how much did you hear from me?
There's a book that you found a long time ago. It's flavoured reading. Says you're a man of culture. And then I did ask if it was pornography.
No, it's not pornography. You are welcome to have a look. I will say, like, it's not a big secret, but it's for one, I don't think you'll be able to understand it because, well, for obvious reasons, when you look at it, and it can play with your mind a little bit. Let's say that much, especially someone like you who's quite intelligent and educated. But if you want to go look at it, by all means.
Well, I'm always interested in a good read.
Very well. I'll close the book and hand it over to him.
So, Victor, as you take this book and you start opening it up, it's covered in strange symbols. The letters seem to move very slightly. The words seem to change. As you start flicking through the book, you get probably a third of the way into the book, and you see a drawing. It's very familiar. Eh, It's a drawing of a man. You start looking at it, you can see it's Peter drawn in this book. His eyes are staring out at you, just staring at you. As you turn the page, you can see Peter again. Slightly closer, you turn the page again, you can see him staring at you. There's a look of contempt in his face. And you just roll sanity for me.
Fail.
Phil. Okay, so I'm going to because it's Cameron's book, I'm going to let him roll the sanity loss for you, which is 1d6.
One.
So you lose 1 point of sanity as you're looking for this book and you can see Peter's face.
Nice try, Cammy.
But then
I'm just going to close the book up and look at him and go, how the fuck do you know Peter?
Peter. Is this someone from your past?
Yes, he's dead. I made sure of that.
It's funny. I think I know the pages that you're talking about. I don't see Peter. I see something else. Everyone who reads this book will have a different perception of what is here. The book changes and adapts to the person that's reading it. And there is a lot in this book that I have still not been able to understand or uncover what it actually means. But for what I have right now, it's an interesting read, and I'm trying to get through it.
It seems very irritating.
I'm interested. Why do you try and look at it again? I could do it.
No, for some reason I have this nagging feeling in my head that Doc says, shut the fuck up, Cameron.
Sounds about right. Francis, do you want to have a look? You might see something different. It could maybe
Sure.
reveal something about yourself.
Why not? What's the worst that's going to happen?
Well,
Let's go for it.
So, Francis, did you start
if
flicking
you
through this book? The first page is blank, second page is blank, third, fourth, as you start skinning further and further through the book, It's completely blank. There's not anything written on any page.
There's nothing in it.
Interesting. I've not come across that one before. Good to know.
There you go.
Oh, well.
So you've
I'm
got
good to get a notepad and kind of note that down, what he said.
okay. So you've got about 6 hours on this flight. Dr. Victor, you've got an old wound in your hand from where you were shot. Well, Cammy's away, it's fine. Is there anything you want to like do any medical on any of the people, the party, or anything like that in that 6 hours?
Yes, I'm pretty sure like bandaged up the wound on my hand already, and that's why I've only
Yep.
lost 1 health so far.
Yep.
I will examine the wound on Stephen if he
Okay.
allows me to. I will also do a basic medical check on Francis to see if there's anything that I should worry about, if he
Okay.
allows that as well. And I will maintain sedating the serpent lady as well.
Okay. Well, can you make, because you've got 6 hours, can you make me 3 medicine rolls with advantage for each of them? So if we make one for Cameron with advantage, so that's a success, and a hard.
So
So if
hard
you
success for the first one.
so you roll a d4 for me.
1.
So Cameron, you gain back 1 hit point from the doctor's first aid. And
Hey, critical.
critical success. So for Francis, you gain back 4 health. And then if you roll another medical roll for me, so an extreme. So yeah, you managed to keep the serpent woman sedated without actually stopping her heart or anything like that.
Okay.
So
I cut it again. What did you say I was
yeah,
getting one of?
1 health.
1 health.
Oh, nice. Okay. I've switched over to mobile data now, by the way, off the Wi-Fi, so hopefully that clears it.
Yep. So while this is going on, Francis,
Yes.
you remember that you picked up a strange golden snake scepter thing from one of these
Yep.
lizard men. What are you going to do with it when you land? Are you going to hand it over to Caduceus? Are you keeping it?
It's getting kept and dealing with my underworld contacts, finding some way to sell it and make a shed load of money.
Okay, that's fine. Stephen, you've also got this flying fang. What are you what are you going to do with it? Are you keeping it? Or you want going to put it with
I
stuff to
think
handle?
I'm absolutely going to keep it, because they wanted stuff from the tomb. They wanted the lady and anything around the tomb. We were given that over. This was not something I found within that remit for me, so I'm absolutely going to keep it, and I'm going to study it to see if I can actually sort of draw the power, not draw the power out of it, but try and replicate what it does in some other way, be that a spell, be that putting it into like a certain type of weapon. I'm not entirely sure, but I want to study it.
Okay. And you have this like footlocker thing. Are you doing anything with that?
Joel, let's play that conversation out. So we're on the plane, and looking at the footlocker, I'm going to look up at the rest of the group. Interesting point about this. The vision I had, the Serpent Queen, she went to sleep when this thing was sealed. So we had the theory that she was going to wake up, like as soon as we opened it. But it was you, Francis, who spotted that she was partially awake and that she was starting to wake, and it's you, Victor, who is keeping this lady asleep. Now, are we perhaps thinking that the contents of this box are not what's keeping this creature asleep, and that we potentially are free to open it? Is that a possibility?
I don't see why not.
Well, I mean, it's more of a punt. From what I saw, the box was sealed and she went to sleep, but that could not be linked. Oh, sorry, I'll rephrase. That might not be linked. It very well could be, but it may just be the box went to sleep. She was like, "Fuck it, that's all done." Off she goes. But from what we're seeing here, it maybe doesn't match up. We're maybe missing a little bit of the picture if we don't look what's inside. I personally, for one, would like to check it. Because we're on a plane, what's going to happen? Is she going to wake up, like use some fucking superpower and crash the plane? Probably not. Like, I mean, maybe. But I'm interested to see what's in there. My curiosity is getting the better of me.
Nothing wrong with being curious. It's just what may happen with something like that is completely unknown. That's my only concern. With it being completely unknown what's in it or what may actually happen, we could end up having a major crash right now. Whereas if we leave it and wait till we give it to the people who know what they're supposedly doing, it's not our problem and not our issue.
Um, let's just say I have my motives elsewhere as to why I'm interested in what's in here. Because if this creature can be kept alive for, as I understand it, from the visions I had thousands of years, it maybe helps me out in a private matter. But that's another day. That's a story for another day, gents.
He serves the snake lady. Kill him.
No, listen, I may be speaking a little bit out of turn, but there's another angle on this. If her slumber was tied to this box, and we woke her up, we might be able to have a conversation with her. Might. At the end of the day, where's she going to go? I doubt she could survive a fall from this high. So what use would it be to her if she woke up to attack us if we opened this box? Perhaps not. And think of what we could learn about the world and about history if we were to wake this creature up, if it is indeed tied. But that's if it's tied.
You might be underestimating her survivability. She was asleep for thousands of years with no food.
And that's what I want to understand, how that was possible.
I'm not overly keen on waking her up, especially not while we're in the air and have nowhere to go. Now, if we take what we experienced within the tomb and the area around it, having an awake serpent lady who has who knows what at her fingertips, beck and call, whatever, I don't believe it's very good. Now, you and I both experienced some strange mutation changes in our body after being hit by green lasers or green beams from that serpent thingy. Now, who's not to say that she has an ability to instantly transform us into those snake things that the army ended up being?
Just, it's maybe something I can pick up with Caduceus when we're there. Because that level of slumber, being able to survive, I mean, it could just be the genetics or the biology of the creature that allowed that. Let's not take that out of our heads. But I have something in my life right now whereby if I can replicate that, and you've seen me, you know I'm capable of magic. If I can replicate that in some way for someone I know, it would very much help me out. And that's why I'm curious. But I can pick this up with
I'm sorry,
with the DJ another time.
Did you say magic? Because it looked like you were doing chemistry.
Yes, it did. That is the way it looked. But it's not. That book you read is a tome of the occult, which I picked up. You'll have noticed, obviously, Francis, you couldn't see anything, but Victor, when you were reading it, I assume you saw letters jumping about. You saw your old friend, and that is magic. I can learn things from this book that I couldn't learn from anything else, and I'm capable of being able to crack its contents with the more strength I get, and I think it could help me where I want to go.
Francis, my dear fellow, do we still burn witches?
I believe the practice may still be about, but I don't believe there's such things as witches. They could be religious types, but in my reading, I do believe the Jamaicans practice some stuff. The Mexicans have some weird views on religion and what gods can do and can't do for them. Maybe it's something similar to that.
Here's the thing as well. You've all seen kind of party magicians, correct? You've seen what they are, you've seen what they're capable of, and they'll always claim to use real magic. Maybe I am just doing chemistry. Who knows? But regardless,
I've never seen any of them. I've never had a party.
fair enough. But what we have seen with this creature and this level of slumber, there I mean, that's either some phenomenal sedation, which then prevents hunger, or there's something extra in there. Call that magic or call that science. We don't know. But for me, it would be interesting to start digging into that. I'm not saying we do it right now. Do you know what I mean? I've already I think I'm very much outvoted on this flight. But that's the angle I'm coming from. We need to see what this actually was, whether it's science, which could, when you respin it, could have phenomenal implications for the world if we were to able to replicate that in medicine. Or if it's magic, then maybe there's extra use of it after the fact. Do you see where I'm coming from? There's a lot to, and maybe that's what caduceus are going to do. Maybe they are going to study that to potentially reuse these applications in medicine or something else. We don't know. But I just want to make sure that I'll rephrase. I know there's a possibility for good here, and I'm not too sure what caduceus' intentions are with what we have, whether that be good or bad. Because it could be for them just about power. Whereas for me, I see it about health and the prosperity of mankind as we begin to culturally evolve. But regardless, it's not one for right now. We'll pick it up at another time and we'll see what caduceus are doing with it. I think that's the fairest way to handle it. Seem fair?
I don't carry it away. Good night.
Good night, Victor. Also, thank you for the medical assistance you provided us over there. It was very much invaluable at times.
Would have been better if I could have. Never mind. Good night.
Good night, Victor. Good night, Francis.
Good night.
So the 6 hours your flight passes, eventually begin to come down to New York in an early morning. Victor and Stephen, you can both regain 3 health if you need it.
Oh, I do it.
You also gain back all your magic points, Stephen. Francis, you regain 6 health.
Okay.
And you feel good. But you arrive, plane bumps down at a private airport just outside New York. Doors open. You all step up. Francis, as you step up to the doors, you can feel your eyes are burning. It's so bright. You blink a couple of times. Everything's a bit blurry. Eventually, everything begins to come back into focus, and the sun stops burning your eyes. It could have just been the change from the dull plane to the bright New York sunlight. But yeah, your eyes are a bit stingy.
Probably need some sunglasses or the taking damage from being blazed out with that weird light from the explosions. I'll get myself checked out.
You all notice there's a large man, short cropped hair, wearing quite a nice fine suit. He walks up to you and extends a hand to you. Okay, Brian DeLuco, head of security at Caduceus. Shakes your hand. It's okay, come this way, we've got a car waiting.
When he goes to shake my hand, I reach out with Manus in my hand and shake his hand with Manus.
And he kind of just looks down at it and just stands there and stares at it for a couple of seconds. Yeah, he just stares at it for a couple of seconds and looks up at you. He's like, hey, yeah, come this way. And he walks over to Otto. Yep.
Ian, what did you say his name was, just so I can write that down?
Frank DeLuco.
Frank DeLuco.
Yep. Frank DeLuco. He walks over to the car, he opens the door. For you to get in, gestures for you to get in. You also
Okay.
notice you can see the body of the serpent lady being wheeled into what looks like an ambulance. And he gets in the car.
Right.
When we get in the back, as soon as the door closes, where are you taking the creature?
To the meeting building. Same place you are going. And the car starts up. And it drives away. away from the airport. You head across New York on this private airfield. You eventually arrive into Manhattan. Eh, you stop in front of one of the tallest buildings in New York at the time. A large 18-story building with a big glass dome on top. The only building taller than its Empire State Building that was closed a couple of years ago. It was open a couple of years ago. Frank gets out, opens a car door, and gestures to the building. He walks up to the building, nods to the receptionist. She pulls out a brown envelope and passes it to him, and he heads to the left. This is quite a busy little reception area. 2 or 3 receptionists. But once she's all getting the lift, he takes a key out of his pocket, places it in a lock, and you can see the floor 7 and 8 light up. And he presses the button for 8. You can hear the lift starting to head up. Once the doors open, you can smell smoke fills your nose. You can hear multiple languages, people talking on phones. You can see what looks like a large bullpen, a total hive of activities. There's maps on the walls, there's people shouting across, there's typewriters going, and the place is thick with smoke. But Frank leads you through to the back of the bullpen, leads you over to a meeting room, and gestures for you to enter in. And he's like, hey, Dr. Shapiro will be with you in a minute. Just wait here.
Could I have a glass of water, please?
Like, yeah, I'll send someone in with it.
Sorry?
What's that?
Dr. Hopal. Shapiro?
Shapiro.
Shapiro.
It's written on the letter from the handout.
Ah, okay, he's on there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So a couple of minutes later, a woman comes in with a tray with a jug of water, some glasses, teas, a pot of tea, and a pot of coffee. Puts them on the table. A couple of minutes later, quite a large, fat man enters, wearing a white suit. He's carrying a fedora. He's fanning himself with it. He's like, so you are the Bolivia team. Excellent. I'm Dr. Shapiro. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Doctor.
He's like, so how much did Arturo tell you before all this happened?
Practically nothing.
Yep, nothing. That was just sprung on us after he died on our outing.
It's like, oh, hang on then. And he gets up and walks out. About 5-10 minutes pass, and he comes back in carrying some quite thick vanilla folders, and he hands one out to each of these. And he's like, well, you could read this, but I'll give you the cliff notes. So Caduceus was formed by Joshua Meaden in 2012, or 1912. Sorry.
We're in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
Future!
Take me back, Marty!
It was formed in 1912 as a medical aid organization, but it probably as you've guessed, this is a cover. During his travels, Meaden encountered arrangement of what seems strange beings and threats. They formed Caduceus to combat them. At present, the largest single threat is a group of serpent people, known as the Inner Night. So, serpent people are a species of reptilian humanoids, they're believed to be native to Earth. They're an ancient race. They ruled the whole entire world at one point, but they now seem to have faded into history. But a millennia ago, a religious split between the race happened. One side was known to worship an entity known as Yig, the father of serpents. The other worshipped Tithogula, a toad-like creature that rivals in vile acts. Intelligence gathered in operations so far indicate that the worshippers of Yig view the conflict with humanity as unwinnable and hide deep in the earth, surface and subterranean cities. But it's the Inner Night, or the followers of Tithogula, they seem to have. They want to bring back the third Serpent People Empire. But details on the plan are limited. Eh, So currently we're running multiple applications to understand their strategy. We have teams undercover within the internet, but I've not got much information. So what we want to do is we need your help. We've got a few field teams, but we always need more. And you've proven yourselves more than capable. So what do you think?
Probably very interesting. I do have a quick question if you don't mind. This has been bugging me on the fly ever since we got here. Considering what you're telling us at the moment about the inner, is it inner night Ian or night as in K?
Night
N.
as in N.
N. So what you're telling us about the inner night, what is the reason for us having returned? Oh, sorry, I'm not returned. Having attained this Serpent Queen? Is she going to be held as some sort of leverage against the inner night? And to follow that up, what I was saying to the gents on the flight when we were coming over here was, I'm relatively capable of being able to look at something and understand its history. I did that in the room where this queen was in a slumber, and she's been held in a slumber and not died of starvation for thousands of years, as I understand it
Oh no
correctly.
no
There's
million
large,
no not thousands of years, millions of years.
right, well, that adds to it then. There's, I don't know whether that's some sort of whacked science or whether there's some more magical traces in there. But either way, there's potential good repercussions for health and the healthcare system going forward that could revolutionize how we see medicine and how we take care of mankind. So I had to bring it up because I think there's a big space in there that really should be investigated, and I really hope that this creature isn't just been held as some sort of leverage against.
Oh no
Um,
no the creature we got some information at the other night. We're searching for something something called the Dreamer, as probably read in one of the briefing letters. We weren't actually sure what it was, but in regards to her, once we know she's okay, uh, we're hoping to wake her up and try and learn as much information as we can from her. Are you there? Oh no, Discord's went and done its mad ass stuff.
At least it's not me this time. Switching away from the Wi-Fi seemed to do the trick. That was a good shout, Doc. It's weird though, because the internet's been like good again. Like it was bad recently, but it's been good over the last maybe like week.
Sorry,
It's just as soon as I come out of this.
sorry, what was the last thing you heard?
You heard that like the internet were looking for the Dreamer. We didn't
Yeah.
know what it was. And
Yeah,
then it was
so
kind of funny.
yeah, we weren't sure what it was, so that's why we sent your team in to find out what it was. But our intention is to wake her up, and once we assess that she's okay, wake her up and try and communicate with her and see what she knows. But hopefully that should be fine. But
Um, I'm glad to hear. I just didn't want this to become some sort of weaponized power trip, and it doesn't sound like it's going to be that. I know this is all very new to me, and you're just sort of giving us a job offer now from the way it sounds, which I will say I'm heavily interested in and I will accept, and I would like to be a part of more outings from this group. Um, if you do try and commune with this creature, could I possibly, even just as a witness, be there?
yes, yes, we'll definitely see. But that all depends on you. Do you wish to join?
I have
You know my answer.
What is the pay?
Oh, we'll cover all your expenses while if you're on mission. The pay is reasonable. It's not astounding, but we'll cover all expenses while you're away. We'll aid in your medical research, Doctor, if you require aid in that. We have
Done
quite
deal.
a... Okay, and what about you, Francis?
Is this an exclusive job where I can only work for you, or can I maintain my current life as well?
Oh, no, of course you can maintain your current life. Well, in fact, we'd probably recommend that you maintain your current lifestyle. Uh, a lot of the stuff that we do in these missions, we don't want the general public to know. There'd probably be a bit of a outcry if people suddenly started finding out that there were serpent people running around the world.
No, that's fine. As long as I can maintain the current life that I have, I don't see why not.
Of course, yes. I
I
don't.
can't. There would be some requirements from yourselves.
Yeah.
Nothing major, but maybe the acquiring of some items that may not be publicly available at times, and some additional training.
Oh, definitely. We can supply most things. If there's anything you need for your next mission, speak to Connors down on level 7, and he can
Fine.
get most things.
Training would be good. From what I've seen of Francis during our last outing, he needs it.
Yeah, he could really use some hide and seek lessons. He's not really good at being able to put himself behind some cover. Isn't that right, Francis?
That's okay. This dumbass also stands in front of dangerous instruments. So,
Since we're talking about that, actually, when you're saying the public cannot know that they're serpent people, I fundamentally agree. There would be pandemonium. And I kind of sort of just pull like the vest, which I am still wearing, like just sort of aside and kind of flash my chest. I was struck with some sort of laser. I'm not entirely sure what it was. And it's sort of left me not as a serpent person, but very much scarred and with, let's face it, scales. Um, is there anyone in your organization that can perhaps help me with this? Victor has an option, but it involves killing me, which I'd rather avoid if I can.
He comes over and starts looking at it and slowly starts touching around the edge. He's like, "Oh, I've never seen anything like this. You say like a laser beam of light hit you." He's like, "Wow."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, eh, let me speak to some of the researchers and we'll see if we can find any information on this for you. Eh, but I recommend maybe keeping it covered up eh, now. But definitely we'll see if we can find any information. That's not something I've seen, but definitely. Eh,
yes, please put away your snake nipples. It disturbs me.
It's a part of my body. I can't help it.
Shame!
so these large briefing, he's like, well, I'll leave you to read these briefing packs. They can't leave the office. Eh, just for security. But read them. Let me know when you're finished, and eh, we've got something coming up in a couple of days. We're just doing a bit of research, but eh, you seem like the team that could help. Eh, yeah, there's something coming up. I'll contact you in a couple of days. But yeah, definitely. Like, but if you don't mind, I've got to head to another meeting. And it gets up.
It was a pleasure, and I'll extend my hand. It was a pleasure to meet you, Dr. Shapiro.
Like, and you, as you extend his hand, you shake his hand. You notice he's quite sweaty, quite a big, fat, sweaty man. Eh, especially for the time of year, April. It's
feel
warm, but it's not too warm. But he is quite sweaty. He's fanning himself with his hat as he leaves.
We're trying to see he was an alien. No, I'm joking. Only works in objects.
Excuse me. Do we get paid for what just happened to us?
He's like, yeah. We'll sort out paycheck for that. Yes. Dolores will sort that out for you.
Good.
Definitely.
We'll grab Dolores before we leave here, or will we be reached out to?
Well, if you want to sit and read the packs, then there's also some forms in there for you to fill out. But yes, definitely. Fill forms out and read the packs, and I will contact you in a couple of days.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. I will get to this pack right now.
what he's doing. He's going to sit and read the pack.
How long would
um,
the pack take for a normal human to read?
Between 3 and 4 hours.
what
So
a
I'll have
fucking weird question.
I'll have it done in 1.5 and 2 hours.
I have finished it. I was reading it while Stephen was talking, and I have like ridiculous levels of like education and photographic memory and stuff. So
So
I've basically got quick study.
Yep.
Well, what I'll do is I'll kind of sit back on the chair that I was in for that meeting and take out the packs and start reading through them, sort of lay the forms out, almost like in an OCD manner, kind of like in order I need to sign them and making sure that all the edges are perfect in line with one another. And I'm going to my front pocket. What you'll see is I kind of like it takes out a fancy pen, and it looks almost kind of like platinum-esque, like looks like really expensive. And just over the kind of the edge of the side, you can see like sort of lightly engraved into the pen the name Claire. So
Okay.
the forms with that pen.
I really like it when players bring in aspects of themselves into the game, can't we?
What?
OCD.
Yeah, I know. Right.
I think you mispronounced autism.
Fuck off.
So, you plow through these packs. Stephen, you seem like you're halfway through, and Victor's been finished for quite a while. Filled out all the forms. Francis then finishes, sits and fills out the details. A woman comes in. She's like, "Oh, I've got these to give you," and she gives you each a key. She's like, "The only way you can get up to the 7th and 8th floors with this key. Have you finished the forms? I can sort them out."
Certainly.
Yes, I have. I'll pass them all over.
So she clicks up your forms and she leaves. And you are free to do what you wish.
Cool. I'm going to go to the place that you told me for acquisitions.
Okay. So you head down to the 7th floor. You can see this is more storerooms. There's a large room, almost like a boardroom, and there's a room named Connors on it. It's just below the door.
Perfect. I'll knock on the door.
And you hear, yeah, come in.
I'll go in.
He stands up. He's like, nice to meet you. Philip Connors.
Nice to meet you, Connors. I have some items that you might be interested in having. I'm after a little item myself.
Yeah, definitely. What was it you're after? You're
Well,
part of the Bolivia team, weren't you?
I certainly was.
Yeah, I heard you're heading out in a couple of days again. Yeah, definitely. What is it you're looking for?
I'm looking for a scope for a 303 Lee Enfield rifle, please.
He's like,
I
yeah.
know they're not exactly readily available, and it's probably ex-military stock that you're going to end up having to get.
He's like, yeah. I've got a few contacts in the military. Yeah, definitely. I can leave one with me, and I'll put the acquisition form in. And I'll get that for you.
Perfect.
I think Shapiro says you're leaving in 2-3 days.
Yep,
Great. I'll have that in before that time for you, hopefully.
perfect. So there's, I don't believe I'll need more than 30 rounds. So there's 20 rounds of ammunition for the rifle. There's shotgun, a 16 gauge shotgun, and 45 shells for that. There's a couple of bottles of anti venom. There's a 45 revolver and ammo for that.
As you start pulling all this stuff out, you see this cigarette that's hanging out the side of his mouth just kind of fall and land on the desk. He's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll sort this out. Yeah, okay, thanks. He kind of just sits there and stares at all these guns on his desk and all his ammunition.
Oh, there you go. There's 5 sticks of candles. And place that on the table and watch what he does.
You kind of see him just take the cigarette from his mouth that he's picked up and just like stabs it out in the ashtray and lifts the ashtray off his desk onto the floor. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll sort them out. Yeah, that's great. Thanks." And
You're welcome.
he kind of just opens his drawer, lifts out a bottle of whiskey and a glass, a second glass and pours himself a glass and takes a big deep mouthful and pours a glass for you. He's like, yeah, I think I need this. Drinks down the whiskey.
Yeah.
It's about 11 o'clock in the morning by now, but
Immediately after they've finished having that conversation, I'm going to just kind of stroll in behind them in the exact same place. Is this acquisitions?
it's like, sorry, yeah, and you can see all these pellet guns lying on his desk. And Francis standing there, he's like, yeah.
Yeah,
He's like, you're not here to give me more guns, are you?
No. Don't worry. I'm not quite a collector as Francis is. I'm actually here more of a hopeful calling. Let's just say I like my herbs, and I have a list of some wild herbs that I'm trying to acquire. I was able to find them quite freely in Bolivia, but they're not as easy to come by in New York and Manhattan. So I was just curious, and I'll slide over a little list that I've got. If you have any of these,
He's like, he pulls the list up and he looks at it and he's like, well, I don't have any of them, but I can see what I could do for you. Quite a few. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. And he folds the list up and puts it into an entry. Like, you part of the Bolivia team as well?
yes, I was.
Yeah, excellent. He's like, so yeah, definitely. I'll see if I can get that to you in the next couple of days. I'm not promising anything. But yeah, I'll definitely see what I can get.
No, that's fine. Honestly, as I said, I wasn't coming here with any expectations. Just when I heard about the reach that this organization has, obviously being relatively new to the bigger picture, when I heard those acquisitions, you never know. There can be weird and wonderful things down here. There's probably a lot of stuff back there that I think would be very useful to me that perhaps that I haven't even thought to ask for. Do you know what I mean? But no, thank you very much. I would vastly appreciate it. And actually, a fun thing. I was thinking about this. And again, I could probably get this elsewhere, but I'm just curious. You wouldn't happen to have loaded dice, would you?
No.
I can get that and
Yeah.
store in Manhattan somewhere. Don't worry.
It's not the kind of acquisitions. If you need a vehicle or an airplane or like some medical equipment or some other kind of supplies, then yeah. But a loaded dice is not something I get asked for very often.
Do you know what? I'm happy I was the first. Anyway, what was your name? Sorry, mate.
It's like, Connors.
Connor.
He
Nice to
shakes
meet
your
you.
hand.
I'm Stephen. Anyway, I'm sorry for bothering you. Enjoy your whiskey. Still early, and I'll turn around and walk away.
He just kind of looks. You kind of see him taking a cigarette from his packet, putting it in his mouth. He goes to light it, and looks at the dynamite, and lets the lighter turn off. Kind of second thoughts. What the rest is? What are you doing, Victor?
During the meeting, I paid very particular interest in Francis's documents, and I would like to see if I garnered where he is currently living.
Roll me. Francis, would you be trying to hide this information, or would you just be sitting and filling them out?
Just be sitting filling them out, not a care in the world of that stuff.
Okay, so Victor, roll me a spot hidden. I know you've got a very high spot hidden, but just in case you fumble, I probably need a hard from you.
I got a critical with a 69.
Okay, so yeah, you can look over. You can see what the details that all Francis.
He didn't
is
say
filling.
nice. He didn't say nice. He's failed, mate.
None of us have said that so far.
Hey,
Actually, Coles has.
yeah, but yeah. So you look over, you can see Francis filling this out. I don't know if what you want to tell him, Francis, is like the address that you're filling them out. Is it like somewhere in New York? Is it somewhere nice, or is it like down in the Bronx?
Oh God, no! Oh God, no! Francis would never be seen as somewhere like that. Goodness, no! He has a brownstone house.
Yeah.
Oh, fancy boy.
I'm just trying to think. It's your typical brownstone. Actually, were brownstones around in that time?
Probably, yeah.
It's upper middle class anyway, wherever he is. He always seems to carry himself better than he actually is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he's a bit hoity-toity.
He thinks more of himself than he actually is. and he does seem to carry himself better
So yeah,
than you would. But obviously, having a thick Irish accent doesn't seem to quite fit as well. You'd expect him to be more streetwise and street looking and generalized like that, but he's definitely the opposite of that.
Or at least he pretends to be.
Yes, as far as you're concerned, that's what his general.
As soon as I find out where he lived, once the meeting was done, I have left the building and I'm making my way back towards my laboratory to meet Ivan.
Okay. So yes, this is a nice area. You've seen his address. It's a nice area. He's living in. Yep. So you start making your way down into the Bronx. I guess you'd hail a taxi or something. Get just drop you off and head down to your lab. You head into your lab. You can see a very familiar scene. You're also very dirty. You haven't been home yet or washed or anything like that.
No, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. But I will need Ivan's help for what I'm planning on doing to Francis. You want me to describe Ivan?
Yep. Describe Ivan for me.
Ivan is 7'2". He
Fucking Frankenstein.
he is huge, and he only got bigger after I gave him a secondary heart. He is obscenely loyal to me because I saved his life, and he is basically my henchman. And I'm going to get Ivan to kidnap Francis for me
Okay.
because I would very much like to examine this currently surviving subject. So for at least one night, I would like to try knock Francis out, bring him back to my lab, thoroughly examine him, and then put him back in his bed the next day.
Okay. So
If he
Francis,
has business and that takes him out of the house and stuff like that, I'll wait until the next night.
Just throwing this out there, Ian, is that a very much after the break we're going to deal with that because we're like a few minutes away.
well, yeah, we're a few minutes away, but Francis, what would you do once you've left Caduceus?
The first thing I'd be doing is going home, getting my best clothes on, and taking my scepter and the snake tooth to my gentleman's club.
Okay.
Now, the gentleman's club is actually a front for professional killers.
And then off from John Wick, pretty much.
So,
Okay, so we'll pick that
it's
up in a minute after the break.
Yep.
But Steve, what would you be doing once you left Caduceus?
After I've kind of put in that list of corners and acquisitions, what I'll do is just try and get a taxi over to my apartment in Brooklyn, which would just be populated with me at the moment. Can I get a kind of nice change of clothes, try and make myself look a little bit smart, go in a shower and wash my hair, make sure I'm clean, kind of like put my hair up in a sort of like a kind of man bun, trim my beard. Kind of when I'm saying make myself look nice, I mean kind of putting on like a nice shirt and kind of trying to really make an effort. Picking up a couple of things like a kind of like a sort of small little teddy bear, like some chocolates, some sweets, just whatever I can really get my hands on, and heading over to the Brooklyn Infirmary, which is where my wife Claire is residing, and then spend time with Claire. There is some conversations I'd like to kind of have as we're like throughout that, but I just we'll deal with that when we get around to it. But that's what I'll be doing.
Well, we'll pick that up after the break, and I think that's probably a good time to do that. So we'll probably back in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
perfect.
Looks nice back. So
Yep.
you can take it away.
Excellent. So, you've all left to take your separate ways. Francis, you start heading home, get yourself changed. Can you make me a spot hidden roll? Hey, Doc, can you make me a spot hidden roll with 60%? Not just roll my D100 and compare it against 60.
27.
That's a success. And Mark, you got a fail.
No, I got a success. It's actually 58. For some reason, it's had it is. Oh, fuck off.
That's weird. But yep, so that's a fail. Yeah, so you head home without a problem. They head off, get yourself changed, get yourself all ready, head off to your private club. When you eventually arrive at this private club, tell me what it's like.
It has, for all intents and purposes, the look of a 1920s gentleman's club. Looks discreet-ish from the outside, looks like a high-class building. There's a concierge at the door. Everyone that comes in and out is always wearing like a high-quality suit.
Okay. So as you head in, you can see quite a few familiar faces, people sitting around tables, drinking. It's quite lowly lit. You come in, you find the bartender stands, and he's like, "Ah, hey, what can I get you?"
Got you on the rocks, please.
And he pours your drink, and he's like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks."
No, I've
We
was
just
away
we,
nice
we,
business trip down in Bolivia.
we just lost Craig.
Ah, that's fine. Hey, he's like, "Oh, all right, Bolivia. Hey, interesting place, yeah. Hey, not much business going down there, but hey." He's like, pours you your drink, and so, you sticking in town for a couple of days, or you heading off again?
Couple of days I've got another job lined up as well, so we'll see how it goes.
Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah, well, all the regulars are in tonight, so, hope you have a good one.
Thank you.
And he starts going away.
And that's fine. And then head to the games room.
So as you're heading towards the waiting room, you see a familiar looking man. He's quite tall, eh, rather well built, and he's packed into quite a well fitting suit. The suit seems like it's seen some better days. You can see that his eyebrows are quite thickly overgrown, and they're almost into a monobrow over deep set eyes. He looks over at you and like raises his glass to you and gives you a little nod. You know this man is Philemone. He's
Philomone.
yeah, he's one of the muscle for the local mafia. You know
Right.
that when Prohibition went out last year, there was a large war between all the mafias of New York when bootlegging became less profitable. Eh, the Bonanello crime family came out on top, and Philemone is one of their muscle, one of their enforcers. It's said that this man's killed more people than Spanish flu. He's quite a reputation. But it gives you a nod and lifts a whiskey glass, and you head into the games room. You can see people, tables set out, people playing poker, playing different. There's roulette wheels. There's lots of different games going on. Is there anything particular you're planning on doing or anything like that?
I will see if there's anyone. I'll watch the poker table, unless there's a space at one of the poker tables, and I'll kill some time for a little bit. And then I will go back to the bar and ask the barman if there's anyone in that deals with weird artifacts, looking to trade some stuff.
Okay, so as you stand and watch the poker table, it seems to be filled now. You stand there for 5, 10 minutes, Eh, Philomone walks up and stands beside you, and two men suddenly get up from the table there and then, pick up their winnings and walk away. He sits in one of the seats and gestures for you to sit in the other one.
I'll do that.
He puts his hand up and you can hear a thick Italian accent. He orders 2 more drinks. Man comes over and places one in front of you, one in front of Millet. He sits there. He starts playing his hand. And the game goes on for half an hour, an hour. He turns to you and he's like, "Hey, I hear you've got some new friends."
Line of business, friends come and go. Do you
Yeah.
refer to anyone in particular?
Caduceus.
Ah,
You friends with
yes.
them?
I don't know if friends is the right word. Acquaintances?
Nah, I think you should be friends with them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just for the family?
well, the family's got a bit of an interest. It'd be nice to have them as friends, and friend of a friend. We're friends, aren't we?
Of course we are.
Like, oh, that's good then. Yeah, it would definitely be nice to have a friend of a friend. You know? Hey,
Yeah.
great. It's like, yeah, so definitely. Hey, I think it's worthwhile becoming friends with them. And then after that, he gets up and just walks away. You can see he leaves. He's stacking money on the table. A couple minutes later, somebody picks it up and walks away with it, following him.
The person that picked it up,
Yep.
does it look like were they with him, as in maybe hanging back,
Yeah, you
or
could tell he's definitely with him. He's in a very similar suit. It's a lot nicer, a bit better fitting, but he definitely he was standing. You saw him sitting at the table with them. He was standing
uh,
back out of line of shot, but he picks stuff up and heads away behind them. Eh,
that's fine. I was just making sure that it wasn't somebody else, and they were promptly going to get told to leave it.
but no. So eventually, there's the bartender tells you, there's nobody in that deals with artifacts tonight, but he'll put some feelers out for you if
Certainly,
if you're definitely looking to sell some stuff. He'll
of
definitely put some
course.
feelers out. Uh, he'll send. If you come back tomorrow night, you should have some more information. Yeah, but
I'll give him $10 as a thank you.
okay. I think $10 now is like 100 quid.
Yep.
Something like that. The exchange rate since 1920s. So you've given him quite a hefty tip, and he looks at you and he's like, "Ah, definitely, yeah. I'll make sure there's be here tomorrow for you." Eh, I honestly do not know what's causing this discord.
You know, like I definitely do need to invest in a camera. The back of my phone is like furnace right now. It's insane.
Yep.
I
He's
picked it
like,
up and I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
You were supposed to be getting that sorted out this week anyway. You were just
Yeah, I
going
was.
stuff it.
I was. But I am a tight son of a bitch when it comes to stuff like this. But I'm gonna need to. I mean, it's my birthday on Friday, like, and I'll probably get a little bit of money for it. So, do you know what I mean? I'll probably just invest in one then.
so the rest of your evening, Francis, passes without much event. Eh, but as you're heading home, I'd like you to make another spot hidden roll for me.
Sure.
For the 7'2" guy, just behind the bushes, like.
Okay, 58, 78 over 58. Right. So yeah, definitely. You're a few drinks into yeah. It's a warmish evening in April in New York. Eh, but you eventually head back to your apartment. Eh, so Victor,
Yes.
your Ivan had watched Francis leave his apartment, head to this private room in the middle of a back street, come back out 3 or 4 hours later, start heading back to his apartment.
I instruct Ivan to give it about 10-15 minutes so he can get in and get settled a bit. And then he's going to barrel up to the door and start hammering on it and going, "Please help! My wife, she's been hurt! Help me, please!"
Okay, so Francis, as you've been in the house for about 10 minutes, somebody starts banging on your door.
Get my pistol ready, cocked, ready. Go to the door. Open my little hatch so I can see who it is.
And you see this large gentleman, about 7 foot, stand there. You can actually, like, as you look through the hatch, you can only see like the top half of his chest. His head's well above the hatch.
Can I help you, sir?
Sorry, I'm just laughing like at your camera. You said he's 7'2", and you just went. I don't know why that kind of appeased my soul in some way. Please carry on.
My wife, she got attacked. Someone hurt her, please. I need your help.
Have you called for the police as well?
I have, but they're not here yet. Please, she's badly injured.
Okay. Step back from the door. I'm going to come and check.
Okay. And he'll take us one single step back.
That's fine. Gun through and boom.
Okay. Well, roll me
I'll
a
be trust
firearms,
in
please.
Kelsey. Oh, please, miss. This would be the funniest thing in the world. No.
So an extreme.
Nicely done.
Okay, so you shoot through this this man. You can see you shoot him in the shoulder. He stumbles back. You can see the blood pumping out of him. What would Ivan do? He's just been shot.
Being quite a big lad, like, and pretty healthy. As soon as the gun comes through the door, like the hatch, he's gonna reach forward and grab the barrel of the gun and try yank his horn towards the door to disarm him.
Okay. So this creature, once you've shot him, this person dives forward, grabs your gun, starts trying to wrestle out of your hand, Mark. Can you make me fight and brawl, Mark, if you want to try and hold on to your gun?
Yep.
And Victor, can you make me a D100 roll against, we'll say 60 again,
Ooh, 72.
72, and Mark, if you want to roll me a fight and brawl, or a dodge if you want to try and like pull the gun back in time, or fight and brawl.
Would it not be a strength for a contested pull against him?
No, it's more of a
No, that's fine.
wrestling kind of thing for this hatch.
Contested tongue.
So both
I'm
these
going to
fail.
use a point of luck to make that a pass.
Oh, you rolled a 69,
Oh, no.
so that's a.
You're
I
the
got an extreme
69.
success. Oh, yeah.
Nicely done.
Woo.
So this guy tries to grab the barrel of
I
your
don't know
gun.
one of these fucking.
Grabs the barrel of your gun with both hands. As he grabs onto it, you pull the trigger again, and you can fire another shot into him if you want.
Awesome.
Okay, the gun goes
Ruh-roh.
off, but he seems to have managed to move the gun out of the way of him. But you shoot the wall behind him. But the barrel, you can hear the hiss of the skin on the barrel as it gets hot. He lets go and stumbles back. He's on one side of the door, you're another.
If he gets to do something, he's going through that door.
Okay. So his turn now. So roll me a strength roll. See if you can get through that. He's a big guy, so I'd probably say he's got a strength of 80, if not 90.
46.
So you say 90, that's a hard success. So he barrels up, the door smashes, and you can hear it all cracking. The door begins to like fall in towards you, Francis. As this large creature man barrels through your door.
He's going to come in, stumble. He's going to go past me because I moved to the side of the door, and I'm going to take another pot shot at him.
Okay. So as he barges through the door, knocks it flat into the ground, stumbles into the apartment, you take another shot. It's at point blank range, so you'll have an advantage on it.
Okay.
Oh no.
Oh,
So that's a
Oh.
success. And if you roll again,
So it would be a 12
which would be an extreme,
success.
which is an impale. So if you roll, what's your damage? The
6.
D8. So that's 6 plus 8.
Awesome.
That's 12 points of damage. So at this point, this large creature thing's lying on the ground. You've done quite a lot of damage to him. You've shot him twice. 12 and 17.
Yep. 17 points of damage, full stop so far.
Yep.
And on that last one, Ian, it was using some of my own health into it, a d6 worth, which
Okay.
is why it went from 2 damage up to 6.
Yep.
Just so you're aware of why that is.
Yep. That's no problem. So you've shot this creature's lying on the floor. You can see him bleeding out and things like that. What would he be doing? He's on the verge of passing out, Victor.
is he unconscious or still
No,
up?
he's still conscious, but he is on the verge of passing out. There's blood seeping from 2 gunshot wounds.
If he has the strength to do it, he will stand up, grab the arm with the gun and his throat and lift him off the ground.
Okay, so make me a strength roll, but with disadvantage, because
Cool.
he's injured. Francis, you can make me a dodge roll if you'd like.
Okay.
30,
Alright. Okay, so since Francis
which
has
is
got a
score.
success, they're both successes, but because Francis is dodging, the win goes to him.
Is it not a hard success for the thing if his strength is 90?
So it is. So it's a hard success. Francis, do you want to spend 11 points of luck to bring that down to hard?
Nope.
Nope.
It is what it is now.
So he grabs you, he lifts you up off the ground. You can feel you're on your tiptoes. This large creature's got you by the throat and by your hand.
He's just going to squeeze until you pass out. He's no been instructed to hurt you. He's just been instructed to catch you.
Okay, can I get a con roll from you, Francis?
Certainly. That's a fail on a 97.
Yep. So this creature's gripped you around by the throat. You can feel your breath getting caught in your throat. You struggle for air. Your legs are beginning to kick, and eventually you black out. Victor, about an hour later, Ivan turns up carrying his unconscious body over his shoulder. You can see the gunshot wound in his shoulder, one in his back. He carries him into you.
First thing I do is sedate Francis completely, so he's not going to wake up anytime soon.
Okay.
And then I'll go about patching the wounds up on Ivan.
Okay. So as that's happening, Stephen, as you head home, clean yourself up, and head off to the hospital to visit your wife, you eventually arrive in the room. She's lying on the hospital bed. You can see the IV tubes. You can hear the beep, 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 beep of the heart monitors. And she's sitting there. She looks like she's asleep. What are you doing? You're muted, Stephen.
If she's asleep, I'll Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, I had myself on mute at one point. I didn't know if I'd unmuted it. If she's asleep, I'll kind of just slowly make my way over. I'll take the teddy bear that I picked up and kind of just like tuck it in between her arm, and just kind of sit beside the hospital bed until she wakes.
So she slowly tucks this under her arm. Her eyes begin to flutter open. And she looks up at you. and reaches up and strokes your face. She's like, "Oh, hello."
Oh, oh. How are you feeling?
"Oh, not too bad. What about you? How are you doing?"
I'm keeping busy. I'm keeping busy. I've just finished a job for in Bolivia. A little bit of money that will help pay some of the bills for for the hospital, of course, and other things. So just trying to keep myself busy. But I'm okay. I'm well. How have you been? How's your health? I've not had a chance to catch up with the nurses. I've just got here.
"Oh, some days are better than others, but..." And she starts coughing and spluttering, and you can hear the rake and the coughing. She stops. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, it's okay."
No, no. Listen, and just as I'm kind of like I saying this as well, I'm going to go into my bag and kind of take out some of the chocolates and the sweets that I picked up for her, just so that, like, kind of like just slip it to her because obviously she's been confined to just hospital food. So don't let anyone see that you've got that. But do you know what I mean? Everyone needs a little bit of sweetness in their life from time to time.
She's like,
Um,
"Oh, thank you."
listen, I just wanted to apologise to you. Because I know what you're going through is hard. It's you obviously you know it's hard for me, and I'm terrified every day. Um, but what I'm doing when I'm out, I'm consistently trying to make sure that I get enough money in order to help pay the bills for here. And it's funny. I've actually been over in Bolivia. And so we had a long flight back from Bolivia when we were done, and there was this one thing that consistently was in my mind the entire time coming back. And I don't even know if you'll remember. It was that long ago. Or it was just that stupid. It might not even be in your mind. But do you ever remember our trip to Blackpool when we were down there for supposed to be 2 weeks or the 13 nights? And me being me, I fucked up the booking and only booked 12. So on the final night, you and me, we had nowhere to stay, and I was so certain you were going to shuriken me and just go through me for just being so stupid and essentially not having a place for us to sleep for the entire night. But I'll never forget that look and that look in your eyes, and you were fine with it, and you were just happy and wanted to go out and explore. And that entire night, we we just walked up the beaches and we talked, and you told me about the kind of person you want to become, all the things you want to achieve, and that's what made me fall in love with you. And this illness that you have, it is the one thing that has stopped you becoming the person you want to be. Um, so everything I'm doing right now, and there's some stuff that you don't know that I have been getting involved with to try and ease your plight. Aside from just trying to get money where and when I can, um, by everything I'm doing, it's for you, so that you can ascend to that wonderful person that you wanted to be and just become everything you ever dreamed of. Um, so when I'm not here, it's not because you, it's not because I don't care or because I'm scared, because I am scared. I'm not here because I'm trying to make you better, because I don't believe what you've got here right now is going to do that. Does that make sense?
She kind of looks at you and she's like, "Oh, I'm a Stephen." Strokes your face. She's like, "Oh, when did you get here?"
Just a few minutes ago, dear.
Like, "Oh, eh, that's so nice. How are you?"
Oh no, I was just at that point now you can see kind of like a tear just come down Stephen's face, kind of just like the wipes it. I was just over in Bolivia on a job, getting some money, pay for the bills. You know me.
"Oh," she's like, "Oh, that's nice. I've always wanted to travel. Eh, but I've never been out of America." "Oh,
Yeah, I know. You've never really been many places, but you'll get better one day, and I'll take you there.
oh, yeah." She's like, "Oh, I've missed you. Where have you been?"
I was in Bolivia for the last week or so. Before that, I was down in England, just here and there, trying to get some well paid jobs because obviously the hospital bills aren't cheap, you know, and trying to maintain that with the apartment and everything else, it is difficult. Um, so just keeping busy. But enough about that. How are you? You doing
"Oh,
okay?
yeah, some days are better than others, eh? But yeah, eh. I've always wanted to go to England. Everybody says it's such a nice place. But
It is. Depends on the area, but you would love it. There's a lot of culture down there.
yeah,
And again, I promise I'll take you there.
good. Yeah, and you can see she slowly slips back off into sleep.
As it does. I'll make sure the teddy bear's kind of tucked, kind of like tightly under our arm. I'm just gonna like kind of like find a wee bit of paper in the room and take out the clear engraved panels that I had in the Caduceus building, and just kind of write down "I love you, I'll see you soon" with a little love heart, and then just an S underneath, and kind of just put that like under the teddy bear's arm, and I'll kiss her forehead, and then I'll leave.
Okay. So you head out for a while. So, Victor, you have Francis unconscious, sedated on your slab or on your operating bed. What is it you'd like to actually do?
First, strip him completely naked.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a small skin sample, hair
Okay.
samples,
Okay.
urine and blood samples,
Okay.
spinal fluid,
Okay.
photographs of every inch of his body,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna examine the hand that had the serpent claw on it.
Okay.
Um,
So,
And set up an OnlyFans for Francis. Only Francis.
so something you do notice is from the beating that Francis ta'en over in Bolivia. I mean, like being blown up, eaten by a giant snake. In fact, blown up twice, eaten by a giant snake. Things like that. He's surprisingly doing quite well. Quite a lot of his cuts are healing well. Some that you think would have needed proper stitches and things like that you'd looked at before all seem to have begun to heal quite nicely. Uh, Looks like they definitely healing faster than you'd expect a normal person. But you spend your time taking these samples. You look at the hand; it looks absolutely perfectly normal. Uh, Checking the blood samples, they look normal. Heart rate's a little bit high, but within normal parameters, you'd say for the time. Eh, you could probably think you could probably do with smoking a little bit more because cigarettes are good for you.
Yep.
But apart from that, yeah, you take your
Okay.
samples, you take your blood, you take your urine, your spinal fluid from and most of the tests you all seem normal, which
Cool.
is surprising. But
I'll keep my samples like refrigerated and that so I can examine them for a little later. I pour a bit of whiskey over Francis, over his clothes, and over Ivan, and
okay,
say, return up to his house, put him in bed, and if anybody stops you, tell him he had too much to drink. You're just taking care of your friend, and just put him back, and then return here.
okay. So Ivan heads off, eventually getting back to Francie's apartment, putting him in bed. The door's still knocked down, flat on the floor. There's still a bullet wound hole in the corridor. Can you make me a luck roll
Yes.
just to see if the
Hard success.
great. So luckily the police have not arrived with the noises of gunshots. Eh, but yeah, so Ivan gets them back out into without any incident and returns to you.
Good.
Francis, you sorry.
I'll just go to sleep after that.
Okay. Francis, you awake the next morning, lying in bed, covered in booze, pounding headache, your back hurts. Eh, some of your shirt buttons have been or misaligned and things, but you like get up and you look around your house, you notice your front door's been knocked in. You remember this large gentleman. Yeah, it's vague, it's blurry, but you do remember someone at your door last night. Yeah, the details are a bit blurry.
I drunk that much. Last thing I remember is somebody coming to the door. Okay. Up. Coffee. And obviously I'll need to arrange to get somebody to come and fix the door. Check with my neighbours if they seen or heard anything.
Eh, your neighbour to one side of you is an old couple. Eh, old man's like, no. Eh, no, the hearing's not what it used to be after the war. Eh, all the explosions, it damaged my hearing. Didn't hear very much, but no, I did see someone, big gentleman. Eh, big gentleman, but yeah, I don't know where he went.
Thank you.
So, Stephen, what are you doing with the rest of your day after visiting your wife in hospital? You're on mute. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Nope.
I was just thinking M.
Okay.
After that visit, what I would have probably did was, because I've sort of been away on jobs quite often, just head back to the apartment, kind of like just double check on some of the bills that haven't been paid, and just make sure that like any conversation I need to have about like, because did we get the money for the Bolivia job yet?
No, not yet.
Cool, right. So with whatever money I have, pay off any of the bills that haven't been paid or need to be paid quickly, and then just kind of like just go wherever I need to go in order to facilitate that. And then honestly, after that's done, just come back to the apartment, kind of just sit on the couch and put on like some of those old black and white sitcoms, because it was Claire's favorite thing to watch, and just kind of watch some of that on my own.
Okay. So your day's quite quiet. You pay a couple of your bills. You pay one of the bills that are on final demand. Eh, for your gas. But you manage to pay it. All the money you've got left, almost.
Do you know one thing that actually did pop into my head, Ian? As I'm sitting watching those sitcoms, I could not remember what that word was. As I'm sitting watching them, I don't necessarily think the book has the answers, but obviously my wife is struggling with like kind of vast dementia, as well as other things as well. Um, is there any spells that I would maybe know of, or anywhere I would naturally think to look in order to pick up knowledge of a spell that could alter someone's memory or fix it in some way? There's maybe more of an open question that we can pick up on next time. Like it's actually, I'm just curious where we go for that.
Roll me a cult.
I've got occult's my highest stat and I failed it.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be very much in this book. A lot of it's still extremely unlegible. But you do know out there in the world there exists other tomes that contains more information. You could maybe head somewhere, like go and find a book dealer, an antiques dealer, see if you can find some other source of information.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think I may actually. So I'll turn the sitcom off, kind of get back into some clothes, just a kind of a big kind of warm jacket, put on a little kind of beanie, so that my hair will just be sort of like coming down for the beanie and going around my ears. And I'll just head out into Brooklyn and see if I can find not like a kind of like an upmarket bookshop, but somewhere that's a little bit more secluded, like, and that has kind of different material than what you would expect from a regular book place.
Cool. Victor, what are you doing with your day?
Examining those samples, using some of the serum on the blood and the skin tissue to see if there's any reaction, and thinking of another way that I can modify Ivan.
Okay. So roll me a biology or chemistry.
Success.
95 and it's a success. That's insane.
I have 3 skills that are completely maxed out, and then the rest of them are basically trash.
Yep. So spend the day looking at these samples, testing out your serum on the blood and skin samples. It's strange. You've tested the serum out on other blood and it's reacted. You can see like the production of white blood cells. The cells start reactivating. But with Francis's, nothing happens. It just stays inert. The blood just cells start dying off over time. The same with the skin cells and things. Eh, but yeah, thinking about modifying Ivan, a third lung could maybe help. You wonder where you'd maybe find one of them.
Yeah. I'd probably head towards the medical school first and see if I've got any connections there. And if no, then I'd probably look towards having a wee trip to the morgue after hours.
Okay, so you head out. Francis, what you doing with your day?
My day will be filled with trips to the gentleman's club, a nice walk down the park, going to the library, generally being acting like a spoilt little rich kid that doesn't need to worry about working or anything like that. Any beggars or that in the street get looked down on as if snubbing them and just walking away. He is pulling off as best as he can how somebody of high stature would act and behave.
Okay, so you spend the day out and about town, lunching, things like that. Roll me a spot hidden, if you don't mind.
Ah, success.
Yep. Oh, just by 1 point as well. But
Hey, I'll take.
as you're heading through the park, you notice a small street boy, must be about 8 or 9. He's kind of watching you as you're walking through. He just seems to keep his eye on you as you're walking through the park. He's keeping his distance, but he is keeping an eye on you
Okay.
for a while. But
Right, obviously, keep an eye on him as well.
yep,
Obviously, make sure there's
but
nothing to worry about there.
as you leave the park, he seems to head off in a different direction. Stephen, you spend your day walking around Brooklyn looking for back alley little shops. You do eventually find quite a small shop. As you enter in, you can see there's an old gentleman behind the counter. You can see lots of old antiques lying around, stacked on top of each other in this shop. And I was like, "Oh, how can I help you?"
Good afternoon. I'm looking for sort of book or a tome, if you will, just about memories in the mind. I know it's quite a broad spectrum, but I was wondering if you maybe had anything that fitted. I've
Oh,
not really got a particular like taste that I'm after, just more of a general consensus. That makes sense.
like, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, he's like, I've got some books downstairs. Uh, yes, give me a minute. And heads over to the door and locks the door and changes the sign and turns the sign over in the door. And you can see on the side that he changes to show out. It says, please ring bell for attention. It's like, oh, don't worry, I just like to lock the door when I go down because being here by myself, I don't want anybody stealing anything. Come this way.
Understandable. Thank you very much for your hospitality.
And he starts leading you down these stairs, and you eventually get down to what this room downstairs is like, probably about 3 times the size of the room upstairs. You can see there's fine bookcases, fine antique chairs and tables. And he's like, "Oh, I think I may have some books down here at the back. Come down," and it leads you down the corridor, and eventually you get to the back of the shop, and he opens up a box, a wooden crate, and he's like, "Yes, I've got some books in here." And he stands up, turns around and looks at you, and blows the silver dust into your face.
Ruh-roh.
Suddenly, you're standing in a large, giant room. You see what looks like a large glass window in front of you. You should look out the window, you can see trees flashing by, but they're strange different colours. There's pinks, there's purples, there's blues, there's greens, there's reds. Trees are all different colours. They're flashing past at quite a fast speed. You see in front of you a large throne, and sitting in the throne is a 7-foot tall serpent woman. And I think we're going to end it there.
Ah! Fuck off. Oh, okay. Very nice.
There was me thinking I was the one that was going to get screwed over tonight.
Well, it ended up me somehow. Do you know what I mean? We've literally got one of the players abducting the other one, but I'm the one that gets fucking violated by an old man in a bookshop. Yeah, that was good. That was good fun, Ian. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, sir.
Cool.
No, I have no clue what was going to
Yeah.
happen tonight, but we'll see
Do you
what.
know what? It went really well. It was a nice chilled one, and I'm very much looking forward to what's going to happen next week. And just on that as well, we will absolutely be back on Twitch at the exact same time next week, 8:30 on Tuesday. We'd love it if you could come along. And the VOD for this episode will be posted onto our YouTube channel on Thursday. So we hope you come. Hope you come and watch what I was about to say watch with us again. I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. We hope you come and watch the video and come sit with us again. But until next time, guys, thank you very much and take it easy. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Everyone.